Howdy, y'all. So, I just had the notification pop up on my YouTube. You know, my Uncle Scott put up another video about how America is already socialist, you know. Mr. Trump, I hate to tell you this, son, but yeah, America's already socialist. I hate to say it, trust me, because I'm an independent. I can't stand communism, communists, by any name. You call yourself a socialist, you say, I'm not a communist, I'm a socialist. Well, guess what? They're one and the same thing. What was the old joke? How did that go? Well, what's a socialist? Oh, that's just a communist who ain't in a big hurry. Yeah. What was the communist Russia actually called? Soviet Socialist Republic. Socialist. Yeah. United Soviet Socialist Republics. Oh, hold on a second. You're giving me an aneurysm here. They're straight brain fuck. They called themselves a republic. They weren't a republic. They were a commune. There's a difference. And commune, the root word of communist, okay? They were a commune. Unfortunately, the reality of the world is those out there with power will always dictate what the dictionary says, because they like things that they say to actually do what they want it to mean, instead of what it actually means and what it's meant for the last century. I mean, Americans everywhere, real Americans, not these communist little pricks, not these wannabe socialists, but real Americans, people who were born in this country, were raised in this country, and have felt the pain and suffering that has come about by letting communist fucks come wandering across the borders and in through the ports and whatnot, and then having children in this country and then teaching them their communist values instead of teaching them the country's actual values. Free market, true capitalism, not crony capitalism or communism. You know, what are we worth anymore, aside from our debt? If you can answer that in the positive, you're one of the top 1% in this country. Literally. The top 1%. The cream de la creme, the creme de la crop. You are the top. The top tier. Which means that you are part of the problem, not part of the solution. And you wonder why I say this. Well, the reality is my dad was a middle-class man, but he had his wealth and he worked hard for it. It was stolen from him by a communist government. Not by a capitalist government. Y'all quit spreading that shit, because you're lying, and I'm calling you out on it. You're a bunch of fucking lying thieves. And until you reinstate the Constitution of the United States as it was written, not as you enjoy it or as you rewrote it, you are the enemy. See, in my vicinity, where I may be, if a man says, you can't say that, I say, yeah, the fuck he can. Sure. Sure he can say that. Why? Because I'm standing here, motherfucker. And I say he can say that. I say he can say whatever the fuck he wants to say, just so long as he's not sitting there murdering, raping, or thieving from me or you. Did that take a whole lot of effort? No. The saying part of it took no effort at all. But I'll tell you what. You try to enforce your freaking anti-First Amendment policies, I will enforce my foot so far up your ass the water on my knee will quench your thirst. I will enforce my freaking angst so far that you will be able to understand my anger personally. Because only a true American stands as I do. I've met a few. Hell, I've met quite a few. But y'all out there keep on saying, no, he's a criminal. Excuse me. I don't wear a suit and tie. I don't have that pin on my lapel. Hell, I ain't even wearing that damn cap no more. I'm wearing black because I am in mourning. I cry for the country which I have lost. I shed bitter tears for the men and women who died trying to bring us back from the brink, only to watch our country go full steam right over the edge of the cliff. Y'all think, my angst has, or my ought is against the people of the American Constitution? Matter of fact, those are the folks that I would actually bend down and kiss their shoes. And that's not something that Americans do. We're not toe kissers. We're not ass kissers. If you got something to say, all right, say it. Good for you. Awesome. You said something. I don't fucking agree with it, okay. But you said something good. No, I ain't gonna kiss your feet. I ain't gonna kiss your ass. That's the way that most Americans are. I'm one of the fucking 3%. The 3%. You know who the 3% were? They were the American people who got finally so damn fed up with King George and his overreaching, overwhelming policy of destruction, theft, murder, and pillaging. By the way, pillaging is the way that you say raping in the proper sense. Pillaging of the American colonies. This is back when we were still Englishmen. Back when our country, was still an English little tiny chunk of England halfway around the world from the actual England. Back when my ancestors were still running around in freaking butt flaps, shooting bows and arrows, or firing musket and cannonade. That is the time I'm speaking of. I want y'all to understand that since those days, we have been fighting against an overwhelming an overbearing governing body that has done everything in their power to destroy the nation which they are to govern over. Now, when I say govern over, that means you are there as a shield. The barrier between foreign dignitaries and we, the American people, who will stomp their fucking guts out their mouths. You're the barrier between us and those fucksnots. You're the people who are supposed to be saying, hey guys, no, that's not going to fly. Because you see all them motherfuckers back there? They're just looking for an excuse to stomp your guts out. You see all them motherfuckers back there? They ain't tasted blood in about 100 years. They're pissed. Why do you think I suck my teeth? It ain't because of the fucking scuzz on it. I brushed my teeth this morning. I brushed my teeth this noon after I had my breakfast of coffee. I brushed my teeth. So this sucking on my teeth ain't nothing to do with that horse shit. You get that out your mind right now. The sucking on my teeth is because I can taste blood, motherfuckers. And it's because I done been socked in the mouth so many fucking times by your bullshit that I am sick and tired of it. That I'm gritting my teeth to the point where I'm just praying. I am praying that the entirety of the rest of the nation stands up and says, nah, string them motherfuckers up by their nuts from the tallest goddamn tree you can find and make sure to tie their neck to the tail hairs of a horse and smack that horse on the ass with a hot red iron. Because there are too many motherfuckers in this country that done suffered because of their bullshit policies. And I don't say bullshit, I said pull shit. Because that's what they're doing. They're pulling wool over y'all's eyes. And all you're doing is sitting there just, oh, well, I'm going to vote no. You signed that contract of consent? Really? You know, the last time I signed that contract of consent, I got sent to jail. Not for signing the contract of consent, mind you. No. Because my signature on that contract of consent said, I do not consent. Those who would enforce anti-constitutional policy for the interest of the gain of power are the enemy of a free people. Benjamin Franklin. For any man who stands against you and should steal from you and take your property and utilize your arms against you, there stands a traitor to this nation. But for any man who would then hand you his arms and say, to you I look, my pride, my joy, my countrymen, my kin. I hand you this so you may defend. There stands a saint. Regional commander of battalions, Smith. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, the first name. I know his last name was Smith because he was an ancestor of mine. And that was at the Battle of Leeds Battery. Or Leeds Battery. Under Marquis General Champlain of the French Foreign Legions. Yeah, back when Napoleon was trying to be the master of the world. because he was the only one who had the actual capability of providing us arms, we looked at that man as a saint. A superior monarch to everything that has ever come from the English side of the world. We looked to that man because he was willing to provide us with arms in order to fight back and gain our independence. Remember what my ancestor said? For there stands a saint. We thought of that man as a good man. It turns out he was destructive on the whole. You know, wanting to be the greatest freaking conqueror of the world. But we looked at him and said, yeah, we could deal with that fucker later. Right now, he's willing to give us guns so we could deal with this fuck snot who wants to be a bigger problem to us. That's why we speak French every now and then. That's actually why I know what a French accent sounds like, because I've been to New Orleans. And it's not New Orleans. It's actually Orleans-le-Neuil, if you know anything about the place. Orleans-le-Neuil. Yeah, that's French, fuckers. For New Orleans. Y'all bother me with that horse shit of it'll never be socialist. We're already fucking socialist. And unless you start fixing that fucking problem, stop talking out the side of your neck, Mr. Trump. Because you're so full of shit, it's coming out your mouth. And it's disappointing as hell. Especially to somebody who, you know, actually kind of looked up to you for a while. Even though you was a Democrat and all that shit. I looked up to you. I thought of you as a great man. Somebody who was not Democrat, but libertarian. Boy, was I in for a rude fucking awakening to find out that you was a Democrat. And then you ran on a Republican docket. Oh, something don't make sense here. Something smells a little bit like a red herring. Stanky fish. And yes, by the way, these are my loose lips. I'm sinking this damn ship. Because I done had enough of your shit. You talk and you talk and you talk and you don't walk. You've been passing law after passing law instead of sitting there and vetoing law and refuting before law and having Congress review former law, which would be detrimental to the American way of life and destructive to the free market society which we had. And I say had because we don't have anymore. Any man who implements a income tax upon any person, anyone, is a socialist and a communist traitor to this nation. Now, y'all say, well, what do you know, Mr. Price? What do you know? I mean, shit, I'm only, a genius with a 163 tested IQ. Sorry, 168. It would have been 204 if I'd have been tested appropriately and not accused of cheating on a test that's impossible to cheat on. That's what my IQ would have been, was a 204. I would have been on the level of Sherlock Holmes as far as intelligence is concerned. But instead, I was accused of cheating because I studied, because I paid attention, and because I memorized shit. Because I placed a certain amount of importance on my intelligence, on my ability to be able to weed out the freaking dumbassery and lies, to smell bullshit for what it really was instead of saying, that's a good moose turd pie. I could taste the blood from your veins on my teeth now. You pieces of shit make me ill. But I tell you what, I would gladly feast on your livers if it meant my country was liberated. I would break my most sacred of rules. I would eat human flesh if it meant, mind you, that is my most sacred of rules. Never, ever even contemplate the eating of human flesh. But I am contemplating that if it were possible that it created liberty, and trust me, this is actually causing a bad taste in my mouth. But if it caused the possibility of liberty to come about, I would give in. And that's a saying to something there. Because a good man don't look at that as a possible ideal or a thought that they like to look at. Excuse me. It disgusts me. It causes me no set of ill to think death, murder most foul, could bring about a case of liberty, freedom. Something that, as a young man, I was charged with upholding. The day I was handed a firearm, my daddy told me, now you understand something, son. As much as I dislike this ideal, and I never want to ever have to see you have to do this, by taking this firearm in your hands, you become one of the armed population. And therefore it is your duty to stand against tyranny and oppression, wheresoever it may be, from whatever angle it may come, whether that be even from me. It is your duty to stand against that. This is a man who called himself a Democrat. Back when Democrats weren't liberals, they were Democrats. Yeah, came from a Democrat's mouth. My daddy voted yes on not letting felons have guns. My mama voted no. You know how I know it? I was too young to vote, and so they were allowed to take me into the ballot box with them. Because they were a married couple, 25 years ago, you could walk into the ballot box together, especially if you had a child in tow. Now, that's illegal. Wait a minute. If man and wife are supposed to be able to find agreement in all their stead, as matrimony is a holy, singular position, meaning that two become one. My mama and my daddy should have been sitting there agreeing with each other. But they couldn't. Because my mama knew, because she lived in LA, she knew what would happen had those designs come about. She voted no. My daddy voted yes. And that law was passed. My daddy thought, oh, well, voting makes a dull difference. And it makes all the difference. But when we actually looked at the real numbers, the numbers that weren't reported on the news, but, you know, were reported out in the dumpster out back, overwhelmingly, the vote was no. Overwhelmingly. To the point where it was beyond 2/3. There were a few folks who voted yes. And my daddy was so irate. He was sick with himself for falling for that trap. Because Democrat or Republican or independent or libertarian didn't matter. An American citizen should never stand down from that particular ideal. You should never back down from the right to keep and bear arms. The only ability that a countryman has to stand against their government should they become tyrannical. Now, my Uncle Scott does go through this. He does say, hey, you know, this is not right. And y'all know him as John from the Prepared Mind channel. The reason why I call him Uncle Scott is because my dad's name was John. I have several uncles named John. I actually got to call a couple of my uncles Jimmy or James because their name's John. I've got several friends who are named John. And because of that, we all called him Scott. And so I knew him as Uncle Scott. So, bygones be bygones. He does point out on his channel, The Prepared Mind, that in this country, there have been at least 60 freaking years of utter destruction of the Constitution and the usurpation of the position of politician to implement the planks, and I'm quoting him here now, the use of the position of politician to implement the planks of communism as written forth by Karl Marx. Now, mind you, I find every shred of that abhorrent. Alright? I am not disgusted at my Uncle Scott. I'm disgusted that the fact that what he is saying is true. I am disgusted that someone could be so willing to feed into this bullshit and allow it to happen, that they just lay down and let it go. You Antifa fuckers don't understand what you're getting your asses into. You don't realize you moved to the greatest country on the planet and destroyed it, looking for communism. You should be looking for free market society and capitalism. A true capitalism. Not crony capitalism where they say, as the communists did, what you make, we want 90% of. And if you don't pay that, we're going to come to your house, we're going to steal everything you own, and we're going to murder you. We are going to enforce that policy at the point of a gun, upon the edge of a knife, and on the blast wave of a bomb. And if y'all don't like it, too fucking bad. Because here it comes. Y'all think I'm just fucking yap 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 yap. It's all I can do, mind you. But when I stand back and I see what all's gone upon, and I've been saying this same thing since I was 7 fucking years old, and y'all are still not listening to me. I'm now 30 fucking 2 years old, and I'm saying the same fucking thing. For all that time, I have to ask, are you blind? Are you stupid? Or do you like taking it up the ass? Because I don't. I don't know anybody that does. I know for a fact that if it came down to it, and you know, more than just the 3% stood up, I'd be standing on that line with them, rifle in hand, proudly. Because I cannot for the life of me understand why y'all would just let shit slide. Because the more shit you let slide, the more buried in shit you become. Marine Corps, y'all know what I'm talking about. That's why y'all talk about the shit sandwich with the bread slices off of it, because you end up eating shit anyways. Because you're standing there and you, by the very nature of being in the military, you have to stand at the bottom of the mountain and you can't complain. Well, I'm complaining for you. I love y'all, brothers. You are my brothers. And yeah, if you don't like that, I would gladly allow you one swing, as is appropriate. One swing. You know, the law of we take this out back, one swing. Instead, I've been watching, praying that I'm not the only one. Please don't do this to me. I mean, seriously. Y'all put a bad taste in my mouth. I never graduated college. I was flunked out for being smarter than my professor. Didn't like me because I was that way, and I told him right to his face, that ain't how it works, brother. If you're not going to teach the class the way they need to be taught, you ain't going to teach the class. Because you ain't teaching anybody anything. This was in a remedial math class. Meaning that everybody came here and had already learned this shit. Came back to learn it a second time. Because they didn't get the credentials. Yeah. I got kicked out of that class because I wouldn't listen to a dumbass. If you're not going to put everything there, don't put anything there. Right? Ain't that right, Professor? Oh, was it Professor Durham? Yeah. If you can't put it right, don't put it there. That's what you told me, right? That's exactly your words. If you can't do it right, don't do it at all. But if you can finish this problem on the board, you don't need to be in my class. You can take the rest of the day off. And all you did was lie through your teeth. I'm done with y'all's lies. You make me sick. And as for the rest of y'all dumb motherfuckers, if you don't stand up and hold the line with me, because I'm holding it here the only way I can, because I can't hold my firearms or I goddamn would. If you won't stand here and hold the line with me, don't call yourself my countryman or my kinsman. You are not. You do not hold the line. You side with the enemy. And if you say, oh, well, it's better to side with the winning side, you don't know what the fucking winning side is yet, jackass. You're going to be astonished to find 100 years from now, Americans will still be around. The American ideal will still be around. Our country might be fucking vaporized. We might be displaced. But we will still be there. Because ours is one of the most intricate and appropriate methods of government on the planet. It's called self-governance. The ability to govern yourself. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking about these fucking communists taking that away from us. It's making me sick to my stomach. And y'all think I'm a blowhard motherfuckers, you better goddamn take a reality check. Look at your history. It is there in black and fucking white. It is written in the blood upon the tombstones of others. You disgrace their names. I find distaste with you. And any man who stands for Mr. Trump at this particular juncture, after all the shit he's done, y'all are communists. Sorry, is what it is. I don't stand for a fucking coward. I don't stand for a traitor. I don't stand for yellow. I stand for do not tread on me. This rattlesnake will bite. Beware my might. This is your only warning. Hear my rattle, walk the other way. Slowly, respectfully, walk the other way. Because ain't nothing you done that is standing for my rights. I have stood for felons' rights. Felons' rights. These are people who have gone and done, said fuck you to the law, and took the law in their own hands as was appropriate, as was set forth by the Constitution of the United States of America, before it was rewritten by politicians. Constitution, according to the First Continental Congress, circa 1778, ratified 1781, amended 1783. 1989. Appropriate to the calling that American patriots gave their lives to. There are not many of us left, but by God, we will not back down. We are not afraid. As you can see, the windows are open. I fear not the drive-by. I fear not the snipers round. Because if I'm dead, I fucking will. I ain't got to deal with it no more. Y'all got to deal with it. And I ain't here to deal with it no more. I ain't needing to worry none. That's why I don't fear it. I look for it. I pray for it. That's why I don't fear the round of the communist. I pray it finds me, because then I wouldn't have to deal with your fucking asses. You pieces of shit need to find a hole and cover it over the top. Live in the muck and the ooze that y'all are spewing here. Because ain't a single one of y'all's ever stood for me. Hell, my daddy, who was a Democrat, stood for me the day he handed me a rifle and said, "Now you learn this well. This is your obligation. And someday you may have to take an oath to that obligation." Well, here is my oath, fuckers. I, Blaine Price, do solemnly swear upon my blood and my death as collateral that I will stand always and everywhere against a tyrannical oppressor with a smile on my face and an evil eye. Whosoever that tyrannical oppressor may be, for wherever they may approach from, be they foreign or domestic actors, I will sell my life dearly. Nay, I will charge that man's life first. For I sell my life dearly in the service of the United States of America and America's citizens everywhere. Ain't a single one of you motherfuckers done said that yet. I'm waiting. And by God is my witness in heaven, as all is holy, I will always stand for liberty and freedom. If I get my guns back, because I already know this isn't going to happen, guys, I'm not stupid. Let me point out to you, that's why I learned chemistry, even though you tried to stop me from doing it. I learned anyways. Because the internet's a beautiful thing. You know, explosives are a lot of fun, especially when appropriately measured. I think that the appropriate measure here will be about 10 pounds. £10. Congress, my eyes looking at you. 10 pounds. For 21 ounces. Sorry, 21 grams. 10 pounds for 21 grams. Because you ain't got one. £10. Now listen closely, because I'm going to whisper this in your ear. Every single one of you traitors, burn in hell. And may God have mercy on your soul, because ain't not a one of us patriots will. Angel Squadron, you have your orders. And as it stand, I, an American patriot, held down and oppressed by the man, your government a truly, I'll stand on that firing line without a blindfold, happily. My only request is that you allow me to hold my cigarette. I will proudly die for American patriots. Proudly. I'd like to see you motherfuckers have one shred of that courage. Because by all means, you slimy cocksuckers that keep on taking away and taking away and taking away with no sight for recompense, as is appropriated and set forth in the Constitution of the United States Bill of Rights, Addendum 8. No dubious fines or fees may be brought against any person for any criminal act, and should those fines or fees exceed the ability for that person to pay, they shall be waived. Furthermore, confiscation of property shall not happen without just compensation. I'm waiting for my just compensation or my property. And just so you know, there ain't enough money in the coffers of the National Treasury. There ain't enough to compensate me for my life, which you attempt to take the moment you took away my ability to utilize a firearm or an air gun to go and fucking hunt rabbits. Of all fucking things. Rabbits. Little freaking two-eared, four-legged, buck-toothed motherfuckers that run around and eat the crops that I cannot grow because the rabbits eat the damn crops. Not legally allowed to trap them either. Wait, what? Not legally allowed to stop the depredation upon personal property. Yeah, you go to hell. You go to hell and you die. Painfully, motherfucker. I've been more than happy to facilitate. And I ain't a murderer. I'm a patriot. American patriot, forever freedom. As God is my witness. The blood of traitors rain upon this land. Even at the cost of my own. For I was not born a communist. I wasn't born in a commune, I was born in a damn hospital. I was not born a slave. I was born a free man in a free country at a time when we could still call ourselves free. My daddy raised me with a rifle in my hands and a shotgun at my waist. My daddy taught me how to shoot a bow, how to shoot a gun, how to drive a car, how to freaking ride a motorcycle. Well, not how to shoot a gun. I had to wait for my Uncle Scott for that one. But he did teach me proper gun etiquette, muzzle control, mental control, patience. My daddy taught me to hunt. Guess what? That's what you get from a nuclear family. And that's why the country has done everything in its power. And I say the country as the government has done everything in its power to destroy that ability. To take that away from us. May God's wrath be visited upon your souls in hell. And may God in heaven seek you out, so that you may be visited tenfold what you have visited upon us. Let freedom ring. Let the whole world know that we, American citizens, celebrate our Independence Day for the reasons, the blood written headstones of our forefathers. We've lost so much. What is with you that you would allow the theft further? Stand up. Rise up as true American patriots. Cast off the shackles of old. The mind is a terrible prison. Cast off your pain, your shackles, and become a patriot with me. And to those of you in Antifa, I would say this. Them folks on the left are just going to cast you under the bus. Right off the dock and bat. Come over to our side. We ain't going to throw you under the bus. Because that's the reality of it. We'll take a bullet for your ass. And I have. From your ass, but still. You can get up and do the right fucking thing. We've already seen you've got the ability to get up. Let's see you do the right thing now. Unless, of course, y'all are a bunch of yellow-bellied cowards. I'd like to see that. I ate junk kind for breakfast. My coffee beans got more kick in them than your fucking little pansy asses. For those of you who would rather change sides and come over and get some real training instead of that ooh, let's that box. Fuck your shit, dude. Come over to the real Americans. I'll give you some real fucking training. I'll make you into a man. Or I'll make sure that you puke your guts out until you become so fucking hard that you will do nothing but stand upon appropriate levels. And you know what I call appropriate levels? It's the Constitution of the United States of America as it was written in 1781 and ratified in 1789. Before all of this communist crap came about, yay, I train you up. But only if you swear that oath that I just spoke before you. Go ahead. Grow a set of balls. We're waiting. Quit being a bunch of pussy cow-hearted motherfuckers. Quit running around with goddamn fillet knives, trying to stab good, honest citizens who damn near gave their fucking lives for you. Do the right fucking thing. Hold the line. And hold it right. Commodore Price. Out.